I'm not surprised that the intro didn't work.
Uh, I'm not either. I kind of gave up on trying to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I damn sure wouldn't pay for it just to have that work.
Nope, not happening. It's kind of hit or miss anyway on the damn thing. When it works, it works. When it don't, it don't. Now next Sunday we're not gonna be streaming, but we will be back for our New Year's stream.
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of run. Who knows how long on that one?
This lady's still emailing me. Lord.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'll just shut it off for now.
You'd be there all night long otherwise.
Yeah. That's how my email goes, though.
That's how mine's been going.
I'll get a whole bunch of junk mail, and then all of a sudden I get one person that found my email address and they want to play not 20 questions, they want to play 40 questions.
Oh boy.
I had one guy that was sending me pictures that looked like he took it with a 1960 Kodak camera. What do you think? What do you think this is? And I was like, I can't even tell what the hell that is. Why don't you try a better picture, man?
I don't know. What the hell's it supposed to be?
Yeah.
Did you take that from Tommy's spaceship or what? You know?
If I was real energetic, I'd go back and find those pictures and send you one, and you'd just be like, what the hell is that? It's looking into a tank covered in brown algae. That's what it is.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, I can't really say something. You know, I told you earlier I've had this green tank for a year. It's still green. No matter what I do, it's still green.
I got that one that just clouded up out of nowhere for some reason. But it'll clear up. They always do.
That's what I thought about this one. At least I got green water.
Yeah.
Anytime I need it, I just scoop a cup of it out, use it where I want it.
Don, if you want to jump up here, the link's at the top of the chat. Same where anybody else. You guys want to join in? Jump up here. More than welcome to do it.
Yeah. Green water has a good place when you're breeding fish.
Yep.
Especially little tiny slivers, because I got fry of the fricatas, and I almost missed them because I thought I was going to have to buy me a magnifying glass to catch them. They're so small.
Little eyelashes.
Yeah. Little eyelashes. So I scoop some green water and put her in there.
Well, this ain't green. This is just like algae bloom.
Yeah. I might try the Infusoria just so that I'm a little more brushed up on it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to buy a culture. I want to make my own.
Yeah.
And I know supposedly when you're doing it, it stinks pretty bad.
That's what I've heard.
He didn't know one ever down here but me, so
Yeah.
I'll put it in the window in one of them bedrooms and shut the door.
Then send the wife in there to get something.
She don't ever go in there.
Hey, what's that smell in there?
Yeah. And I'll come home and she'll have thrown it out in the backyard and washed the bucket out or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll have to start over.
Whoops.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I won't be the last either.
Snail tanks are not the best smelling. That is a very true statement.
Yes, especially when you get a dead snail in there. Oof.
Or if you're just raising snails like June probably is to feed puffers, it's just a tank of snails.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Hey, Richard.
Buddy Richard. His ears were burning because we were talking about him like 10 minutes ago. I still haven't made the video I told him I was going to make. I will.
If you got a bunch of videos made, you just need to put them up there. 6 tanks of snails. Oof.
Yeah. And if I lived in California, I might put them outside.
Yeah.
Get a tub.
Hey, Diddy.
Be raising snails outside.
Definitely. Lori. Yeah, I wouldn't be racing them in the house for sure.
Yeah.
You need to do a video on that DIY snail trap.
Yeah. I should, because it's probably got 50 snails in it right now. And it's nothing but Tupperware with the right holes put in it.
Yeah, it works.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do the one like Rachel O'Leary used to do with the bottle. You cut the top off and invert it. And every time I did it, yeah, I'd not only have snails in there, but I'd get fish in there too. But it did work.
I had this one in one of my shrimp tanks because it was way too many snails in there. It was full of shrimp too, but I just emptied into a bucket, caught all the shrimp out, put them back, and I had a bucket of snails.
Yeah. I did manage to get rid of some more guppies, so my tank's no longer at critical mass for at least another week.
I'll say for today it is.
For at least a week, anyway. I got about 6 females in there that are all gravid.
Yeah. I'm increasing my black bar Inler crowd because I'm going to send Richard some.
Well, he needs them.
Well, we're comparing because we've got them from 2 separate sources that supposedly got them all from the same source.
Right.
From the New York Aquarium Society.
That's that Dominic Islay strain, isn't it?
Yeah. So I have his right here, and mine are over there, and they look identical to me.
Probably same strain.
Yep. I haven't mixed them yet, though. I'll wait till after I send Richard some and he can eyeball them too and come up with an opinion. I think they're the same.
Probably. I say I got that one that I just noticed the other day. The top part of it's like a yellow, and the bottom of it's a blue, and then different lights it's orange and green, and it's like a metallic.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got some Inler in it somewhere.
I would imagine. know some of these do now.
Well, I can always just drop some off at your house so you got more live bears.
Right.
You can have an overwhelmed guppy tank and an overwhelmed antler tank.
Hell, the way I'm going, I'll probably wind up with an overwhelmed knife light bear tank.
It's not a bad problem to have.
Mm. They're getting to be one of my favorite fish.
Yeah. Especially with the plants. Against
Mm.
the plant background, their colors just pop.
Yeah, the valve in that tank's finally starting to take off, so
And
it's already reached all the way to the surface and draping all the way to the other end.
my adults, unless it's feeding time, they'll basically just hang right in the middle of the tank.
Yeah, mine do too.
They're not out.
And I got the white clouds in there with them, so they're doing all right so far. Well, there's Alex.
Yeah, Alex, hit the join button, dude.
Yep. Hit that join button, Alex. Get up here.
We can talk about experiments again. See what we want to try next. See what other crazy crap we're gonna try.
Well, if that stream that we're working on, besides the next breeders discussion, which it's in the works, but if that other one works out, that'll be a pretty good one.
Yeah. Any of the three we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
If those people
Next breeders discussion will probably be in January after the first of the year.
Yeah.
So can go a little more in depth on live foods, I think, on that one. Mr. Stephen P., if you want to jump up here, feel free.
Yeah, I think we all kind of have different ideas about live foods.
Mm-hmm.
Some are just a brine shrimp only. Some are like me. I got fairy shrimp and worms and
Brine shrimp, Daphne.
yeah. But the one I don't have is the one Greg was what we were talking about last time, Amphisoria.
Yep.
And that's
Vinegar eels.
I got vinegar eels on the shelf in there. I always forget about them though until it's only about an inch of water or 2 inches of water left in them. Like crap.
Whoops.
And I got to run to the store and get water and cider and apples. And then you end up with 10 more bottles. They're just like guppies. The bottles just continue to.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get one and just set it right here and say, all right, this week we're going to feed this bottle.
Yeah.
Then go restart it. But I never think about it.
But I think that one, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on live foods and a few other things. A little more centrally focused on something different.
And if anybody has any subjects they want to, or questions that you want to ask to those guys, send them to us.
Definitely.
Yeah, send them to us.
Even if they're just kind of outside the box or outside the hobby somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like 2 of them actually run their own business out of their house, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about that part of the fish hobby.
I don't either.
I've seen
And Greg's been doing it for what, 17 years?
and I've seen he's got the certificates from the state where they come inspect his house.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the reason he started putting new stands in, because they told him that next year he wasn't going to pass unless he got rid of some of those wooden stands.
Right. But he's cut back on a lot of the species he kept too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just doing the ones he can make the most money on, which I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him at all.
I still just wish that the first time I went there, I'd have taken somebody else's credit card with me because he had stuff in there that I can't find now.
Yeah.
Can't find them now. And I had my chance.
Yeah. It's one of the fish rooms you go into and go broke in. Or at least take a mortgage out on a second mortgage.
I've been there, what, 3 times? I haven't got out of his house under $200 yet. Each time it's at least 200. And that doesn't count stuff he just said, oh, you want a piece of this? Throw this in your bucket. Doesn't count the freebie he just gave me. I asked him for that big old African fern that he had in that tank.
Uh-huh.
If he had a piece of that I could buy, and he just reached his hand in the tank and broke off a hunk and threw it in my bucket. Take that with you.
Yeah.
All right.
I finally divided that one of mine up. It took over half that 10-gallon tank, and now it's part of the 10. It's back the way it was when I first got it, and about 6 others in the 55, and then part of another one in 29 with the knife live bears.
Yeah, I'm not touching mine for a while. I got it to 20. It's got a ways to go before I'm gonna mess with it.
They'll get big.
It can. I don't care. If I can get enough of it, I'll probably get rid of all the Christmas moss and just have the ferns in there.
I'm about to the point where I'm ready to throw almost all my Christmas moss away, except for the one in with my white clouds, and they're breeding in it.
Yeah, there's a couple tanks that the fish like it, but I got that stuff growing into the sponge filters and stuck to the
Oh,
side
I
of the
do too.
glass.
I do too.
And I'm in there with a razor blade, scraping it off the glass.
Yep, I've got it growing up. The intake tube of a hang-on back filter is growing up the intake tube almost to the surface, and it's growing up it on the outside of the tube and the inside of the tube.
Yeah, I got it pretty much under control nowadays. I definitely have a crypt problem going on.
Yeah. Fathom that Salvinia, you can send me some of it. Some more of it.
Need to send me his address in the spring so I can send him another giant box of crypts.
I've got his address if you want it.
Well, we'll have to see if it changes again.
Right.
I had Salvinia, Alex, until my dog ate it all. Guess I shouldn't have put it in the tub on the floor.
Well, now that we got my mom's pond back up and going, it'd be good to put some down there too.
Yeah.
It just covered the top of mine out here.
Yeah, I guess I could have stole some from you then when I was there.
Yep.
That'd be just like the driftwood I left laying on your picnic table, though.
Yeah, all 46 pieces of it.
Yeah, and I was too far away to turn around and go back to get it.
Well, Cheryl left it there too, so.
Yeah, we all did. Walked right by it, too, to get in the vehicles.
Mm-hmm. 3 times.
Won't do that again. If you get some more next time I'm there, we'll just put it, as soon as I get there, we'll put it in the truck.
Oh, all I got to do is make a trip down the road, and I can have another truckload of it.
Dad and I got to go to the.
Hey, Flatbed.
What's up, Mike? We have one of those rock places here in town for like landscape and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They sell it by the pound.
Yeah.
And I told Whip I was there one time and they had that Texas Holy Rock. They had a whole pallet of it. So when Whip got excited about it, I went out there and they didn't have any. I was just going to take it to the Quad City, you know, in the back of my 4Runner.
Right.
It would have been cheap by the pound.
Oh, yeah.
I need to ask that lady if she can get another. I don't want a whole pallet. But I guess I could get a pretty good size chunk of it because Cheryl probably wants some. Or see.
Yeah, sure. You'll have to make a trip and load up the Tahoe. That you will. I can do that for you real easy.
Shoot, if we'd have just split what you had laying there the last time, me and Cheryl would have had driftwood for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had enough for every tank.
Craig, if you go buy Holy Rock at a fish store, it is really expensive, but not if you can get it from the landscape place.
You know, that's like Dragonstone. My LFS has it. It's like $13 a pound.
Jeez.
And he's only got one big chunk.
And he's had it for 2 years.
Probably 4 years.
Too expensive for anybody to buy.
Well, I told him I'd drop it on the floor and break it up for him. He's like, no, don't do that. So, because it breaks real easy. He's like, yeah, I know. I want to keep that one big chunk if possible. I said, oops.
The only thing I go to my local one for, because I think I have more tanks than he does, because he's more of like a pet store, as puppies and lizards.
Right.
But he has a minnow tank in there. He's got like a 125 that's just full of random minnows he gets from somewhere. I go stare at that every now and then and see if I can pick anything out. I haven't found anything good yet.
Yeah. 18 tanks in the basement. Oh, hell, I can fill those in no time.
Cheryl, you could take some rope with you and we could get some of those big pieces and tie them on top.
Yeah.
Like a tree trunk.
Yeah, some of them would go in. If I still had that 310, they'd go in that real easy.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't talking no little bitty 1.5 2 foot long pieces.
Yeah, I'll have to, next time Cheryl's at your house and I'm there, I'll have to take her one of her crayfish or two.
Yeah. Yep. Because that one piece I had out there, I think, was a little over 6 foot. That one that was all branched out all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that piece was about 6 foot.
I eyeballed it, but I didn't know what the hell I'd do with a 6 foot piece of driftwood.
Hey, Don.
What's up, Don?
Hello. Good evening. Good morning.
Evening for us.
Well, morning for me.
Might be late evening for you, right?
Well, it's early morning for me. It is going on 1:30 in the morning.
7:30 here.
So where are you, Curtis?
Right in the middle of the country in Kansas. We're both in Kansas.
Kansas.
We're both
Yep.
in Kansas, but he's on.
Just on opposite sides.
We're on opposite sides of the state.
You're both in Kansas then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I lived in Kansas City, Missouri for about 6 years in the 80s.
Well, it's only
Way back
about
when I
2.5
didn't know
hours.
anything. When I didn't know anything, like the water that Cheryl has, because I used to live in Blue Springs, Missouri, when Cheryl lived in Blue Springs, Missouri, I think, and then I lived in Independence, which is just down the road, when Cheryl lived in Independence, and I've never met Cheryl. But she's apparently got all this magic water that comes out of the Missouri River, because I looked it up because I know what her water's like, and I found out where it came from. And yeah, I've been keeping fish since 1969, but I wasn't keeping fish when I lived in the outskirts of Kansas City. Um, but yeah, I wish I had done, because a lot of things would have changed. Anyhow, I got a question for you, Chris. Have you ever used Matten filters?
I personally have not, but I want to. I know people that have them.
Well, I've got three. I managed to find three 22-gallon long bookshelf aquariums with sliding glass lids with Matten filters,
Nice.
30 pound each, which is about $45. And to me,
That's a steal.
the tank with the sliding glass lid, it was an absolute steal at that price,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, that's-
everybody's doing the rimless tanks, and you can't control the evaporation and the fish jumping out and stuff like that unless you've got like a fitted lid.
Yeah.
And if you want to do just a simple light, you've got to have the sliding glass lid, and this fit the bill perfectly. So I bought three of them. One of them had a big crack in the bottom, which I think happened when the guy was getting the aquariums out of storage. So I will be able to repair the tank, but I'm not going to be confident because I live in an apartment building. I'm 2 floors up, so I've got people living below me. I wouldn't be confident repairing the tank and filling it up completely with water. So that's going to be a paludarium tank sat on the top of a rack. So one of the things I'm looking for is ideas on how to make an amazing like paludarium kind of thing out of the top tank with easy plants with low light and no CO2, so very, very low tech. And what I want to do with the rest of the rack is get involved in some Gudaid endangered keeping and breeding and information giving and learning myself and stuff like that. So, but now I've got a question that I've never heard anybody ask, and I just want to throw it out there because I'd like to hear a discussion. I'd like to hear a roundtable on this and get people's comments. People talk about friendly bacteria, beneficial bacteria, so nitrifying bacteria. So, ammonia to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate, right?
Yeah.
And you can buy this stuff in a plastic bottle at a pet shop. It's probably come from a factory in, I don't know, China or Indonesia or Fort Knox or, I don't know,
Somewhere.
Austin, Texas, wherever this stuff comes from. And you stick it in your water, and the bottle guarantees, the labeling guarantees live friendly or beneficial bacteria. But at the same time, if you have a canister filter and they say, oh, if you have a power cut, you've got to get battery backup or UPS or something, because if you don't get it switched on within 10 or 15 minutes, all that beneficial bacteria is going to die.
Yeah.
So how the hell can they keep this stuff alive in plastic bottles on warehouse shelves for 6 or 12 or 18 months between the time that it's manufactured and the time that it reaches the end user, and it's still a live bacteria, and it's beneficial, and it's going to get your tank up and running and stuff like that? Whereas if you switch off your filtration, or you don't have aeration to the tank where your beneficial bacteria lives, is going to die within 15 or 20 minutes. So discuss.
I don't believe the 15 or 20-minute story at all.
I don't either.
I've had my power off for 3 days, and when
Yeah.
it came back on, at the time I had hang on the backs, and they just came on and started running, and I didn't do anything because they were still moist. They were still wet.
Do you think the stuff that you buy in a plastic bottle from a pet shop that's been in transit for months or a year and a half Do you think that has live beneficial bacteria, or do you think it just has an ammonia source in it that encourages the growth of the bacteria?
I've never actually used it, but I don't know that it's a magic potion. I wouldn't give it that.
Yeah, it's one of them snake oil things.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
kind of what I think too. It's like, yeah, it might help because it probably has some. I don't even know, has it got chlorine remover or anything else in it, or is it just bacteria?
I don't know. I've only used it once, and that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, I've never used it. I'm the guy that just squeezes a sponge into another tank and
Yep.
rolls with it.
Or
Wow.
transfer grabs a handful of substrate and throws it in there.
Yeah, or rock or driftwood or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plant.
I mean, I can remember back in the day when I got started back in the late 60s, early 70s, that you get a hang on the back filter, and they had the motors that sat right on the top because the motors ran so hot
Mhm.
that they would heat the water up and
Or the
basically
Dyna-
boil
the
you. So the
Dynaflux.
motor sat on top of the hang on back filter, and 220 gallons an hour. I mean, you were pumping some water. You were doing some serious stuff. But I used to take those things apart and scrub them with a toothbrush and salt about once a month to get them super clean. And
Mm.
nobody knew back then about the beneficial bacteria and stuff like that.
Or you take the whole tank over, empty everything out, and wash all the gravel and everything in it, put it all
Yeah.
back in.
My brother still does that after I've told him and told him and told him. He washes it in the bathtub with scalding hot water.
Oh,
Pours all the gravel in from the bucket back in. Throws
Yeah.
puts a couple of drops of Petco chlorine remover and throws his fish right back in. And so far, he's been lucky. Been doing it for 20 some years that way.
Well, he must be keeping convict cichlids because he's going to kill pretty much anything else.
He's got two of my super red plecos in there, and he hadn't killed them.
It's like they say, don't wash your sponge filters and that out in tap water. I've been doing it for 30 some years. I never had an issue.
You can for a couple of minutes. It's not going to. I mean, if you soak your sponges in tap water overnight.
Yeah.
it might
No,
do something.
they don't have enough contact time to do that.
That's right.
It's just wring them out until they go clear and put them back in.
As long as you're rinsing them in the same temperature water that the sponge is used to in the tank, then you should be okay.
Same with these under gravels. About once a month, I'll stick a hose down the damn uplift tube and suck that crap out. Good
Exactly.
to go. One tank's been running probably 20 years that way.
Well, when I was in high school, I worked at a brand new pet land in the town that I lived in, and it was the only chain pet shop in town. In fact, it was the only pet shop in town. And I walked in and I said to the guy, I said, "What do you know about fish?" He said, "I don't know anything." I said, "Well, you need to talk to me. You need to give me a job because I've been doing tropical fish all my life." And he already had 70 freshwater tanks and about 12 saltwater tanks. And I said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "What do you know about saltwater?" I said, "Saltwater, too much chemistry, not interested. I'm not smart enough." I said, "You do the saltwater, I'll do the freshwater." So that was the deal. And I'm 16 years old, 15, 16 years old. And every tank was set up with an under gravel filter, including marbles in the zebra danio tank. And many months later, we found babies underneath because you could look up underneath the tank. But yeah, I used to put the siphon down the uplift for the under gravel about once a month on every tank and suck all the crap out. I love under gravel filters. I've never had a Matten filter, but I got 3 that came with these 3 tanks. And I'm very much looking forward to getting my rack set up and getting these Matten filters going.
Mhm.
And take things from there. I've had a Fluvel. No, Eheim. Eheim was the first canister that I bought back in the 80s, and I loved that thing. I absolutely love that thing. You let it run for a year, you take it apart, gush all the crap out of it, give it a rinse, put it back together. Ran like a dream. Ran like an absolute dream.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but back then, Eheim made all kinds of stuff that was built to last.
oh yeah, yeah. I've seen people running Eheims for 20 years.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easy. And I know there's still people that have those old Eheim heaters too.
So
I
what,
do.
what's your favorite? What's your favorite filtration method then? For the tanks that you run, what works best for you?
Mostly spun.
Most of them.
Most of them are
Go ahead.
spun, but the under gravels are the least.
Yeah,
They're the ones I don't mess with them except changing the air stones every once in a while.
that's right. There's nothing wrong with an under gravel filter.
The Python.
I'm running
the
I'm running under gravels and the old 60s style box filters.
Yeah,
the Python made under gravels really nice because you got that suction going.
Yep.
Stick it in that uplift tube.
yep.
And I just do one side every couple of weeks. I do this side today, and 2 weeks from now I'll do the other side. Once in a while I got to put a new air stone on it. But
I
used
got
to-
one more question for you. Is anybody here into fish ring punks?
I have some, but I haven't collected them.
I got sent a couple of packs by Ed Moats. Got the red pack and the blue pack. I'll be unboxing them sometime soon, or unwrapping two little packs and see what I ended up with.
Yeah. I have a few, but that's about it.
Yeah, I just haven't got into that. I've been collecting fish and tanks instead.
So, it's called priorities, Curtis. It's priorities.
Yeah. That's what I was telling Mike before we started. I have to figure out how to block Aquabit off my computer and my phone.
Hmm.
It's just too much.
Yeah, but then you're still getting emails. Hey, man, did you see this on Aquabit, or did you see this on Aquafinder?
Yeah, I know.
Uh-huh.
I know. And then I'm like, man, it's only $50.
Yeah, I'm pretty encouraged about Aquafinder. I think Greg is on to a good thing here, and I hope everybody jumps behind it and
Yeah.
and supports it. So I think it's a really good idea. It's something really positive for the community.
I got on there right at first and got my name put in there, but I don't have anything posted on there. Just too freaking cold.
Yeah, I'm on there. I'm on there too. It's just, yeah.
Springtime, I want to see if that really doesn't blow up.
Yeah,
That and support Tropical Fish Co.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. And I wish I could do more, but living in the UK, it's difficult to support them. But it was a big, bold move, and I told Jody, I said, it's a big, bold move that you've made, and I wish you all the best. And
Yeah.
please know that everybody in the Fish Fam community is right behind you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I really hope they do make a success out of it. And I know they're working their butts off, and it's going to be good for the hobby. It's going to be good for the hobby.
Yeah.
It's going to be good for them as well. So.
Well, I think my point of contributing is when I go see them, I'm going to take a bunch of they're not extras, but I got some tanks that, I could take 30 fish out of there and never know it.
Yeah.
And just take them up there and say, here, put these on your website.
Take her a bunch of knife line bearers.
I got some family that lives in Iowa, and if I'm lucky enough to be able to go back and visit them, my oldest sister, nieces and nephews and stuff like that, then I might just arrange a visit with Tropical Fish Co. and yeah, quite like that to happen.
Smuggle some fish back on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah, but we have to make these things happen. We can't just hope they happen. We got to set goals and aspirations.
Yep.
and-
Well, I know I'll be in Kansas City 3 or 4 times every year, so Not very far from there to Sioux City.
Nope,
Just
not far at all.
straight up the interstate.
Do you like barbecue?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to work when I was in university. I went to Central Missouri State University. I think it's called the University of Central Missouri now, down in Warrensburg. And I worked at Minsky's Pizza in Blue Springs, Missouri. And I got asked one time to be a judge at a barbecue contest in the shopping center the pizza restaurant was located in. And I said, yeah, sure, of course I will. Went along, put my bib on, and started eating this barbecue. One of the plates that I was served was barbecued rattlesnake.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't a KCBS sanctioned one though.
It was everything you'd imagine. It smelt like fish. It tasted like fish. It chewed like gristle, and it was absolutely horrible. It was terrible. But at least I got to judge a barbecue contest. I mean, there was some good food there. There's some very good food.
I'm actually a certified KCBS barbecue judge.
Oh yeah. You ever heard of Bill Sharp's down in what was it called, Montserrat, Missouri? You ever heard of that place?
I've heard of it, but never been there.
It was the ugliest, greasiest, dirtiest place you'd ever want to visit in your life, but God, their barbecue is delicious. He had the fattest dog. I think it was.
I've seen some when I was in the hill countries in Texas that you'd walk into and go, there ain't no damn way I'm eating here. But once you try it, you're like, oh my God.
Indeed. Yep. I took my family out there when they came out for my college graduation, and I said, this is where we're going, is Bill Sharp's. And they said, it's just a cinder block shed in the middle of nowhere. And I said, yeah, wait till you taste the barbecue.
Yep.
And everybody
sometimes in little hole in the wall places are the best you can get.
Indeed.
Last time I was in Austin for training, the guy giving the training says, we're going to go eat barbecue for lunch. And I'm like, all right, we're in Austin, Texas. Let's go eat barbecue. And we're in the 20 passenger van thing the school has.
Yeah.
And he pulls up to this gas station. I'm thinking, wow, we got to get gas too. Okay. And he drives right by the pumps and drives around the back of the gas station. And there's a little barbecue joint on the back of the gas station.
Yep.
Oh my. I told him we're not learning nothing this afternoon except sleep. Because
well, that's how Colonel Sanders got started in a gas station, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And after he sold the business, he started another place called Colonel's Lady or something like that.
Something.
Yeah.
But he didn't do any of that till he was like my age.
Yeah, he was in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And he had leukemia, and he just kept going.
So for me,
he died.
Do what you do. You live your dream, and that's what we're doing. We're keeping our fish, and we're living our dream.
Yeah, I work at a place that has like 3,000 people. So when I come home, I walk in here and I'm all alone. There's just bubbles. I'm just like, yeah. I'm a
How many tanks? How many tanks have you got?
About 30.
Yeah, the most I ever had was 27, and I think that was pretty much my sweet spot. I worked in restaurants when I was living in Columbus, in Ohio. I had 27 aquariums in my apartment. And every night when I come home from work, it didn't matter what time it was, I'd spend 1 hour and 15 minutes doing maintenance and feeding my fish and looking at my fish and stuff like that. So most of my tanks were just bare bottom, grow out tanks and breeding tanks and stuff like that. I had a couple of what you call display aquariums when I was breeding cichlids at the time. And I just had a row of smaller going up to larger tanks down in my basement. And I bred some angels and bettas and barbs and stuff like that. just for fun. But I used to sell these fish to pet shops. But I come home from work every night and I do 75 minutes maintenance on my tanks, and that was my cutoff, and that was my sweet spot. That's what I could manage in a day.
Mhm.
And I was never interested in doing like an automated water change system, because as soon as I would get to that point, you stop looking at your fish and you stop observing, and you stop your thoughtful reflection and things like that.
The only thing I've thought of is an autofill, but I don't even know that I want that, because I'll start messing with that tank and I'd have that one filling and I forget.
Yeah.
And unless I put some kind of a float or something on it,
A reminder or something.
I'd screw that up. So,
Yeah, but
You
I
play
like to
with
observe. I like to observe how the fish react when the replacement water comes into the tank. Because if they look like they're stressing, then I wouldn't do the water change so often. If they look like they really enjoyed it and it was, party time, it's just like, okay, these guys love a water change. You're going to benefit from it. They enjoy it. So that's why I say, for me, for me and my tanks, in a way that I like to do things, and I'm not telling anybody else how to do anything by any means, is just, I pay attention to the fish and see how they respond, and react accordingly, because I followed their lead. They don't have to follow my rules.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just the way I look at things.
we were talking about that earlier, because one of the future ones we're going to discuss live foods. And all of us probably have, and everybody in the chat, a different thing that they prefer, how they do it, why they do it.
Different approach.
Yeah. And none of them are wrong.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Somebody asked me some questions about Amazon sword plants, and I went back to the 1980s when I lived in Ohio, and I rented an old house that had massive, like 11-foot ceiling, right? And they had these floor to ceiling windows on the side of the house, but there was an alley on that side of the house, and then a house right next door. It was a bright room, but it never ever had any direct sunlight. And I put in a 55-gallon tank, a couple of angel fish, an under gravel, like a skeletal framework under gravel filter, perforated tubes, nothing fancy, with a power head. And I think a common plec or something like that, just three or four fish in the tank. And I put a couple of Amazon swords in the tank. And this was in the winter time, and springtime come around, the days started getting longer, the room started getting brighter. And this is back when we only had fluorescent tubes. I'm talking 1986, something like that.
Some tubes.
Grolux fluorescent tubes, right?
I still use them.
Yeah. And these swords took off, and they took off. And one day I come home, and they're like trying to push the plastic lid up on the front of the tank. And so I left the lid open, and they grew a solid foot out of the top of the tank. And I took, well, we got burgled in that apartment, and I moved to another place up on the north end of Columbus, and had a very dark living room, and moved the tank and the plants and the fish and everything. Stuck it in a dark corner in a dark room with the same Grolux fluorescent tube, and the plants died. It wasn't melt; they just died. They just we're not having this. So the same tank with you can't really argue all the same conditions, but it's just the different lighting. You get completely different results. And I would argue that if I had taken that tank where the plants did so well, where that tank was situated in the bright but no direct sunlight room, if I'd taken that tank and moved it to say it was on the north wall, if I moved it to the west wall, it probably wouldn't have done nearly as well, or it may have done a hell of a lot better. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's every tank in every position in every room is gonna behave, going to behave differently. It's going to react differently.
Each one of them will be different.
Yeah. There is no single answer to anybody's question on what's wrong with my tank, or what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong, why is this happening. It's just like, I don't know. There's so many variables, and that's part of the patience lesson that this hobby has to teach us. Is you try things, you make minor adjustments, even moving the tank slightly might make a world of difference.
Yeah. I've noticed that even breeding, because there's some, and we've had this discussion before, that it might do really good up there on that top corner. And for you, it might do better down on the bottom.
Yep.
Or
Which could be 1 or 2 degrees Fahrenheit temperature difference.
Yeah.
Or the light, or who knows.
Or you could have them in a tank that's fairly clean and they're not breeding. You move them over to like an under gravel tank that's got a lot of mold in it, and they breed up a storm.
Because they know that the young are going to have something to feed on.
Yeah.
They're only going to breed if and when. Well, they're more likely to breed. I would argue. I can't say as a matter of fact, but I would argue that the more likely that the parents, or the more that the parents are convinced that the offspring are likely to survive, the more likely they are to breed. And then they'll turn around and eat the eggs. There is no logic.
Yeah. That is
There is no
much.
logic. It is only nature. Nature and survival of the fittest. And
Like Greg Sage was saying on that last stream of ours, the fish know when you're messing with the water, and if they're happy in that water, they will breed.
which is why I say pay attention. Pay attention when you do the water changes. If they look happy when you're topping the tank back up, keep doing it. If they look stressed, don't do it so much.
Yep, I gotta laugh at some that say, oh, you have to do 50% water change, or you have to do 25% or 30, or even one YouTuber even says do a 98% water change every time. It's like, well, that might work for you, but if I did that, it'd kill every fish in my tank.
Well, I watch a certain professor saying when your nitrates hit 20 parts per million, you must do a water change. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. And I've got 38 parts per million nitrates coming out my fucking tap. Sorry, my tap.
Yeah.
So how is a water change going to help that?
Yeah.
I have 50
There you
coming
go.
out my.
Yep.
And you got people like Jeff Kane that has nothing, you know.
Oh, such an easy
Yes,
life he's got. Such an easy life.
TDS of 8.
He's one of those that puts his tap water in and he needs to remineralize because he's got basic RO in the tap.
Damn near
I think
RO coming out of the ground.
I think Jeff Kane has got a well drilled into the Nestle RO plant or something like that. He just got pure RO coming out.
He might.
He's got to remineralize, but he's not admitting it.
Yeah, because you said you got a pH of 5.8, TDS of about 8.
God. TDS, what am I talking? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I've not tested this for a long time. I would guess 350, something like that. If I, must be a dead battery. Here we go. Oh, it's quite low. It's only 204.
Oh, that ain't bad.
204 TDS in the tank, and that's what I cut 50-50 RO water and tap water when I do a top up for a water change.
Yeah. When I was doing pencil fishing, like a 10-gallon tank, I had to put like 8 gallons of RO in it, 2 gallons of tap.
Yeah.
Because mine's so hard coming out the tap. In the summertime, it'll get up over 350.
Yeah, my flatmate has a tank with cichlids in it, and he does about a 50-60% water change once a week, and his normally runs around 350, 380 on TDS. But I don't do the cichlids. I prefer big tanks with little fish as opposed to big tanks with big fish. Big fish.
I had the big aggressive fish for years.
The most
So,
the most boring fish in a tank is a bunch of piranha.
yeah,
They
because
just
they don't do anything.
well they swim around very slowly in circles, very slowly,
Yeah, they don't do anything. They just
and they
sit
keep
there
doing
basically.
that, and they keep doing that, and it's just like it's boring. What do you call a dither fish for piranha? Well, it's lunch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, anyhow, I've bent your ear long enough. I'm going to finish my Kentucky import here. Thank you for the Jim Beam family, and bless them all generations of them. And I'll let you get on with your stream. Thank you for letting me in.
Yeah.
We didn't answer the live bacteria in a plastic bottle question, but I think it needs to be scrutinized.
Yeah. I think somebody needs to figure out a way to test that.
Yep.
I think so, and I think we should all rethink undergravel filters, because the lovely thing about undergravel filters is you have no consumables, you have nothing to replace.
They are starting to slowly make an upturn and make a return.
They don't break.
Slow.
They don't break. The only problem is if your air pump fails, and how often does that happen?
Not very often.
Rarely.
The decrease in performance, you replace the diaphragm, and you're good to go.
Well, and with
Like I was telling Curtis and all them guys on that last stream there, Don, I'm still running a Silent Giant air pump from the
Wow.
80s.
Nice.
I've got a complete rebuild kit for it if it ever goes down. You can ask Curtis. You can't hear that thing. He didn't even know where the hell it was.
yeah, I had to like trace down airlines to find it.
And I'm running 15 box filters and sponge filters and undergravel filters off of it.
Do you remember the old Penplex air pumps?
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a diatom filter, a Vortex
I had
diatom filter.
I
That
have
thing
one.
absolutely rocked.
I have one.
Oh man.
I've also got one of the old Dynaflow filters,
Oh yeah, Dynaflow.
and it still works.
There you go. And the old long life heater.
Yep. I got 3 or 4 of the old test tube heaters,
Yeah, screw it on the back of the tank.
and I'm still using them. And they're more accurate than the new ones.
Yeah. Anyhow, I hope you guys all have a great Christmas. Thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for inviting me up.
No problem, Don.
I've had a good evening. It's 2:00 in the morning. It's time for me
Cool.
to put my ugly head to bed.
All right.
All right.
See you.
Thanks
See
a
you,
lot.
Don.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Merry Christmas. Good night.
You too. It's good to see Don.
I see him every once in a while.
Yeah. Quite the interesting guy.
Mary Oliver still has an undergrad.
Since 2018. I've got, let's see, this one I've got's been running since '93.
Well, and I use these on there now
Yeah.
because you can just take them apart and clean them, so you still don't
Yep.
you don't ever buy anything. You just
I still say the biggest mistake a lot of people make with an undergravel is putting a damn power head on it.
or they use the wrong gravel. If you get real small gravel and it compacts, then you don't get the flow through it. You're better off using like a pea gravel or something.
Yep. Fairly coarse.
Yeah, then you get really good flow through.
I've even used it with kitty litter and not any problem.
I haven't tried that.
But yeah, a power head, you're pulling too much water through it too fast. They weren't designed to be running a power head. You can, but
Yeah.
I didn't get the results with the power head I did with just using the air zones.
No. And I have a whole bucket of those air stones, so when I'm going around, I just
Pop them out.
pop them out, throw a clean one in there, and I take them all the way apart and soak them in the hydrogen peroxide for a couple of days and rinse them off.
Good to go.
Good to go again.
Yep. That's what I like about the old box filters. Hell, you can clean them out in no time. Pull it out, pop floss out, new floss in it, you're done.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of them. And the little tube where the air goes,
Mm-hmm. It broke.
no, it's mine plugs up with calcium right on the bottom.
Hmm.
So then I got to take a paper clip or something and clean that little tube out all the time. So I'm not running any of them right now. I have a whole box. I'll throw one in though, just to polish the water.
Oh yeah. I put one in with an under gravel filter. One had run the air under gravel uplift in one corner and the box filter the other.
I should probably throw one in each one of these Pleco tanks to help clean it up a little bit. Because I just vacuumed both of these over here, and they have a layer of crap on them already. 24.
Oh yeah. Mine's same way.
And that wood cave that I got,
Mhm. It finally sank?
no, it's sitting right.
No.
It's sitting right at the top of the water, but there's Plecos in there. It just kind of floats around the tank, and every time it turns just right, I can see the Pleco hiding in there. He's just like, "This is my new house,"
Yep.
but it's already growing stuff on the outside. So
That's good then.
there's one inside of it and 2 or 3 hanging on the outside. And if 2 or 3 of them get on there, it'll sink. And then I think they freak out and they let go, and it goes
Whoop.
back up.
Back up like a horse.
I'm
All
just,
right, Curtis. I think we'll call her good.
all right.
I say we won't be streaming next Sunday, but we will be for New Year's. New Year's will start about the same time we do here, and we'll go to whenever.
I think Alex is going to get involved in that, and HHD said they would put it on their channel after us. So
Yep. We'll channel hop.
we'll channel hop. I need to ask Mixicell if he wants in on it, see if he wants to have a drinking contest with Alex again. See,
Alex again.
yeah,
See if he'll be hurting again in the morning.
because I know I'm not drinking with either one of them.
Me. Yeah.
No, not me. Can't handle it.
Well, hell, getting old.
Or smart.
That too. Okay, everybody. We'll see everybody on New Year's.
All right. Bye, everybody.